For 47 years, the Iranian regime has systematically targeted the United States and its strategic allies, constructing an entire national identity around the Great Satan narrative. Unlike other isolated regimes, Iran's governance is built on the foundation of chanting against the West, but their threat is far more dynamic and dangerous than historical comparisons to North Korea or even Nazi Germany might suggest. While those regimes were largely contained by their borders, Iran has spent nearly half a century exporting a toxic, expansionist ideology across the globe. Their influence now stretches from the heart of the Middle East into Africa, South America, and across Asia, creating a web of instability designed to undermine global order at every turn. During these 4 decades of hostility, the regime has prioritized military dominance over the welfare of its people. They have aggressively pursued high-level uranium enrichment, developed one of the world's largest ballistic missile programs, and are currently refining advanced weaponry that could soon challenge Western technological superiority. Their goal is clear: to defeat the United States on multiple fronts: nuclear, conventional, and asymmetrical. The regime's most calculated tactic, however, is the use of a specialized Shia-centric ideology invented by Khomeini. This ideology is used to weaponize foreign minorities and create proxy armies that fight on behalf of Tehran. By deploying these proxies to destabilize the U.S. and its partners, the mullahs attempt to keep the Iranian heartland safe while the rest of the world burns. To end this cycle, we must move beyond old containment strategies and implement a total, structural reset of the region.
No strikes on civilian power plants. We must avoid striking Iran's general electricity grid for 2 critical reasons. First, the regime still holds hidden missile and drone stocks that could be used to target power and water plants in Israel and the Gulf. Second, this war aims to liberate the Iranian people, not cause them suffering. We should only target power stations that directly serve military command centers. Paralyzing the regime's weapons while protecting civilian life is the only way to maintain the moral high ground. Trump's 3 pillars of absolute victory. True victory for President Trump is defined by 3 decisive strategic actions. First, he must stop every missile and drone from launching. Second, he must permanently reopen the Strait of Hormuz to global trade. Third, he must ignite an internal revolution by arming the Iranian opposition. This approach ends the threat without a forever war by breaking the regime's tools and empowering its victims to finish the job. Hunting the final hidden missile stocks. The conflict is active, and 90% of Iran's known military stockpiles are gone. However, the regime is surviving through deep concealment in mountain tunnels and reinforced bunkers. The strategy must now pivot to an aggressive search and destroy mission. Using advanced satellites and deep cyber penetration, the coalition must hunt these hidden assets. We cannot leave a single drone operational, as they represent a scorched earth threat to regional stability. Executing simultaneous global and internal strikes. The old doctrine of sequential escalation is over. Because the regime is wounded, we must strike the coast and the interior at the same time. Waiting gives the mullahs time to move their missiles and crush dissent. By launching a dual-front offensive, securing the Strait of Hormuz while triggering a nationwide revolution, we shatter the regime's ability to coordinate any defense. Simultaneous pressure is the only way to ensure they never recover. Establishing the 300-kilometer coastal kinetic buffer. To secure the Strait of Hormuz permanently, we must establish a safe zone 300 kilometers deep into the Iranian interior along the entire southern coastline. This requires a heavy bombardment campaign to wipe out every military base and radar station in that zone. Once cleared, an international ground coalition must physically secure the shoreline. This ensures no extremist regime can ever again threaten the world's primary oil supply route. Digital liberation and the Starlink shield. A dictatorship survives on silence, so the digital Iron Curtain must fall. The coalition must launch precision strikes on jamming towers that block Starlink and satellite signals. Furthermore, we must physically destroy the hardware used for the national internet kill switches. By giving the Iranian people uncensored internet, we give them the power to coordinate their revolution and stay ahead of the secret police. Information is the ultimate weapon. The Libyan model for Iranian restructuring. The long-term solution is not occupation, but the restructuring of Iran. As long as Iran remains one centralized state, the radical ideology of the current regime could resurface. We should follow the Libyan model by arming any internal group willing to fight for independence. Iran is a collection of oppressed nations, and by providing weapons and air cover, we allow the Kurds, Azeris, and Balochis to liberate their own lands. The Ahwaz Pivot and Arabian Gulf. The most important piece of the puzzle is the liberation of the southwest region of Ahwaz. This area holds the majority of Iran's oil wealth, yet its Arab population is marginalized. Establishing a sovereign state of Ahwaz takes the eastern shore of the Gulf away from Persian control. For the first time, both sides of the waterway will be governed by peaceful Arab states. The waterway can then be accurately renamed the Arabian Gulf. Achieving structural peace and regional stability. This strategy is about more than winning. It is about ending a century of conflict. By hunting every hidden missile, securing the 300-kilometer buffer, and dismantling the central state into ethnic sovereign nations, we ensure the mullahs never return. President Trump's victory will be a Middle East where the strait is open, the people are free, and the Arabian Gulf is a zone of shared prosperity. This is the path to permanent peace.
In conclusion, we must totally eradicate the mullahs' regime. Any partial victory allows them to rise from the ashes and pursue their evil agenda. We cannot stop halfway. Fragmenting the state is essential because decentralized chaos is far safer than a nuclear-armed Iran threatening the world. If the central regime persists, we must dismantle it through balkanization, arming all opposition groups, and maintaining a permanent air, land, and sea blockade from neighboring bases.